Scarlet Witch, the master of chaos. She's got probability manipulation and reality warping powers, easily making her one of the most powerful women in the Marvel Universe. But then comes along Jean Grey, Omega level mutant and the all-powerful Queen of Psychics. Now, I've actually done a video on Scarlet Witch versus Dark Phoenix before, but that was the movie versions of the characters, and it was even before Wanda showed up in the Multiverse of Madness. And so today we're doing it a little different. Comic 616 versions of the characters and their base versions. So that means no Phoenix Force. It won't be including the times Wanda was using the Life Force, so no House of M. Just the standard versions of the heroes. And so, in a battle between two of the most powerful X-women, who's coming out on top here? Who wins? Well, let's find out. What's up, guys? I'm Daniel, and this is Danco. We do fight breakdowns every week, plus the occasional power ranking video like this one, or things like that. So if that seems interesting to you, we'll sit back and enjoy the video. Hit that like button. If you want to, well, hit the subscribe button while you're at it. Now let's get to it. Wanda Maximoff, aka the Scarlet Witch, was born on Wundagore Mountain, the same mountain where Chthon, one of the elder gods of Earth, wrote the Darkhold, his book of black magic. Because of this, Wanda was touched by chthonic magic at birth and was destined to become a powerful sorceress and one of the chosen Nexus beings of the 616 reality. Not only that, but her powers were then later amplified more with experimentation by the High Evolutionary, where he genetically altered her to be more receptive to magical energy. Wanda has a wide array of powers, like her Hex Bolts, which allows her to manipulate probabilities, then her Chaos Magic. She was trained by the centuries-old witch Agatha Harkness, and with this mastery over witchcraft and magic, she can tap into energies so strong that she can alter the fabric of reality. With all that, Scarlet Witch has been called one of the most powerful magic wielders on the planet, to the point where she's been in the running for title of the Sorcerer Supreme before. Scarlet Witch's primary powers are energy projection, reality warping, and probability manipulation. Her energy powers range from blasting back minions and shattering buildings, to one-shotting countless heroes and villains, ranging from Thor to Emma Frost, to Iron Man, to Dr. Doom. In her fight with Hope Summers, where Hope had the power of the Phoenix, Scarlet Witch was able to create almost country-sized energy blasts, only stopping and holding back because she didn't want to cause even more damage to the Earth's surface. But it's not just energy blast. Reality warping is probably Wanda's most infamous power. As she warps reality, a lot of this looks like Tetris blocks, like her time in House of M, but without being amplified. She can do whatever she wants with this power too, even to the point of warping a Phoenix-empowered Namor, or even in her fight against Hope, you can actually see that she's warping the entire face of the Earth, as it looks more and more Tetris-y. And then lastly, there's her mutant power, her probability manipulation. And with this, again, she can do pretty much whatever she wants, like redirecting attacks, reflecting them back at an opponent, changing the probability to where she's just out of the way of an attack, or anything as small as gathering the carbon dioxide in the room to knock people out, making sure every bullet in a gun is a dud, to as large as absorbing all the destructive power of Black Bolt's voice, which was looking like basically the equivalent of a nuclear bomb. Jean Grey was just an average little girl until her best friend was involved in a fatal car accident and the tragedy of this awoken her mutant telepathic powers. This got the attention of Professor Charles Xavier for his X-Men, interest from Mr. Sinister for her genetic potential, and even potential as a host for the all-powerful cosmic entity of destruction and rebirth, the Phoenix Force. On top of that, she established herself as an Omega-level telepath with powerful telekinesis. Jean has been stated over and over and over again to be the most powerful psychic the world has ever known. Professor X has said time and time again that even a psychic like himself is nothing compared to Jean's true potential. And that's really what an Omega-level mutant is. A mutant with unlimited potential. I mean, it's even to the point where Jean Grey got more powerful after her connection to the Phoenix Force was cut off. The Phoenix Force, an all-powerful cosmic entity, was actually holding her back, mostly because Jean was afraid of exploring her full potential out of fear that the Phoenix would take over. Jean Grey has been able to do some incredible things over the years with her telepathy. She's bonded the minds of every mutant on Earth, millions of them, and created essentially a hive mind for a few minutes. She's been able to perform a few feats against Null, the god of the symbiotes and someone who can control a hive mind that spans across the universe. And she's even been able to battle against Nightmare, a fear lord and ruler of his own realm in the dark dimension. And it's not just raw power either. Jean has incredible technical skill when it comes to her telepathy. Like she's able to easily remove thoughts and suggestions placed by Cassandra Nova, or even deal with psychic traps placed by her as she navigated her way through Professor X's mind, with Cassandra being the evil twin of Charles Xavier. Then of course, Jean isn't just limited to her telepathy either. There's also her telekinesis. She's powerful enough to ragdoll Apocalypse and send him flying around. She's suspended Hulk up in the air where he couldn't move. And she's unleashed telekinetic blasts that sent Thor, Rogue, and Scarlet Witch flying. And when Thor charged back, well, she sent him flying again. And this was teen Jean from the past. The current adult Jean is definitely more powerful and more skilled. Jean's even powerful enough to throw the Peak, a gigantic sword space station, up into orbit, and then instantly followed up that massive showing with something as small as pinching off a man's pain receptors so that he wouldn't feel pain. So how do we see this fight kinda playing out? Well, they're both insanely powerful women here in Marvel, but Scarlet Witch definitely has the more hacks ability. Like Jean has her telepathy and her telekinesis. And while she can do a lot of intricate stuff with that, making up complex illusions with telepathy or manipulating air molecules to knock people out with telekinesis, even that can't compare with everything Scarlet Witch can do. Like not just probability manipulation and reality warping, although she can do pretty much anything she wants with just that, but also transmuting objects, putting up force fields, manipulating time. Basically anything is fair game. Like I said, Wanda has a lot of hacks abilities, but they both kinda always start the fight off the same way. Scarlet Witch starts firing energy blasts, and Jean Grey always starts with a mind attack, trying to shut down her opponent's mind. So just based on past experience, that's probably how they'll both start off this fight as well. Like we mentioned earlier, Scarlet Witch's energy blasts are powerful enough to instantly one-shot plenty of people, ranging from Dr. Doom to Magneto to Emma Frost and Miss Marvel. And even if it wasn't an instant one-shot, well, it's still able to injure Thor and Hulk on top of it. So if it can do stuff like that, you can be pretty sure that it'll knock out Jean Grey as well, especially considering that she's essentially a glass cannon. But what Jean can do is try and block that energy blast, and she can do that with her telekinesis. Jean has telekinetically shielded herself and others from the likes of Apocalypse, Magneto, Abomination, and even the Phoenix Force. So she should definitely be able to block some energy blast from Scarlet Witch with her telekinetic shields. But of course, Scarlet Witch has a lot of hacks, and as soon as she sees that Jean can telekinetically block some energy blast, well, Wanda can simply manipulate Jean's shield, like she did with Magneto, or with Crystal, or even with Galactus. So with that, she can kinda go around Jean's shield, and then still attack Jean. Problem is, Jean isn't just gonna be standing around while she blocks Wanda's attacks. Then she isn't just gonna be waiting for Scarlet Witch to manipulate her telekinetic shield. In fact, she's actually really good at multitasking, like using her telekinesis to protect her from Binary's energy blast and the powerful white hole, all while using telepathy to cut off some mystery connections holding her back, or using telekinesis to protect a spaceship from solar radiation, all while telepathically monitoring her team at the same time. So, she can telekinetically shield from some absolutely crazy attacks and use her telepathy all at the same time. So that means that Jean will be unleashing a mental blast at the same time that Scarlet Witch is unleashing an energy blast. And we've seen that Jean can block Wanda's energy attacks. Now can Scarlet Witch block Jean's mental attacks? While Scarlet Witch does have some defenses against mental attacks, but it doesn't mean that she's immune to it. Like, look at Axis, where Scarlet Witch was mind controlled by the Red Skull, who's got Professor X's brain, but didn't have access to his full powers. And she was mind controlled by him really quite a bit, quite a few times. Wanda's even fallen to a teen version of Jean Grey before, when she was casually able to enter Scarlet Witch's mind without her permission. And on top of that, Jean has regularly proven that she's able to get through some pretty tough mental blocks and shields in the past, like hurting Juggernaut through his helmet several times, hurting Magneto through his helmet, or even shutting down the Hulk, who is notoriously difficult for psychics to engage with. Scarlet Witch is insanely powerful and has a plethora of different powers. We didn't even really touch on probability manipulation, reality warping, time manipulation, anything like that. And honestly, we don't really have to. When it comes to Jean Grey, or really any psychic on her level, speed is essential. Jean can one-shot so many opponents simply by shutting down their mind, knocking them to sleep, taking control over them, and that's always her go-to attack. So you either have to take out Jean before that happens, or survive the initial psychic attack and then kinda go from there. Scarlet Witch usually always leads off a fight with energy attacks, which Jean can block with her telekinesis. And then Wanda doesn't have the mental defense to survive a full-on psychic attack from Jean Grey. So yeah, Scarlet Witch does have reality warping. She does have probability manipulation. All sorts of things that might actually allow her to win the fight. But she won't have the time or the chance to use any of that stuff before Jean completely takes over her mind and shuts her down. Like I said, Scarlet Witch is crazy powerful, but she just isn't equipped to take on someone like Jean. Meanwhile, Jean can take her out with just one Mind Blast. Jean Grey wins. But what do y'all think? Sound off in the comments down below. I know you're gonna have thoughts and feelings on this one for sure. If you stuck around this long and made it to the end of the video, that's amazing. Thank you so much for watching and for supporting us. And if you want to go subscribe, well, go subscribe. You're going to see more videos like this one every single week. I'll see y'all then. I'll see y'all next time.